Alright, I wanted to make a specific video talking about the edits to Star Wars, including the special editions. If you aren't aware, though I'm sure at this point you're in my videos, you probably already know this, Star Wars, George Lucas has famously made several major edits to Star Wars over the years. Especially the originals, but the prequels have had edits too. Disney has now also made some edits, but like the major edits happened just before the prequels, near the end of the prequels release, and then with like Blu-ray upgrades, the Disney Plus upgrades. Those are kind of the big waves of edits. Things like Who Shot First happens here. This is where, you know, a lot of the CGI editions come in. And like, after they are released, the older editions disappear. Like the DVDs and VHSs, like VHSs still exist if they work. But the DVDs, the Blu-rays, those editions all exist and are accessible, but you will not find them streaming. Once a new version's released, that is it. That's the version. So I grew up on a version that was released between 2006 and up until 2011. 2011, Blu-ray comes out, they make changes that I didn't even realize they made until I was on Disney Plus looking up when these changes happened. The biggest of these changes for me that I noticed that weren't on my childhood edition was going from the weird puppet in Phantom Menace to CGI. It's not the same puppet as the originals, and it's not a bad change because that particular puppet was kind of creepy. It did not match any other version of Yoda in existence, but it is a noticeable change, especially for someone who grew up on that edition like me. Every one of these editions people are going up on, and like the special editions are infamous because they make these major changes from the original thing, but like that's all I've ever known. I have never seen an edition of Star Wars that wasn't the special edition. I've seen clips, you know, that get circulated, and that's it. And I think that the special editions and all of these edits have a place. Like, I don't like change, but like being able to update certain things, especially, it was best with George Lucas because at least it was like, we're following a specific vision from the get-go, and now we're able to add some more to it. At this point, I don't think as many edits need to be made. I don't think edits necessarily need to continue to be made. I see both camps, but like my favorite edit is adding Hayden Christensen to the end of Return of the Jedi. My least favorite edit is the weird song in Return of the Jedi that I always thought was a special edition add-on. Turns out there was a song in the original according to Wikipedia, but I think it's like a jarring tone switch shift thing. It's a really weird edition. But ultimately, like special editions and these edits, I think they have their place, and I think they're important, especially because of when these movies were made, but I'm not sure they need to keep happening, especially since we don't seem to have the same type of like divisive vision of Star Wars like we did with George Lucas. He had a specific plan, and now it's kind of all over the place, which is fine.